It's no secret that Hollywood has, for one reason or another, steered away from including traditional family values in its media and entertainment. Rather, we've seen a deluge of film and television shows espousing postmodern or perhaps even nihilistic scruples embedded in their scripts and stories. Most importantly, we've seen not only the destruction of the family, but of the father and masculinity in general. But will there ever be a time when tradition returns? Can such a prospect ever truly be achieved? And what exactly might be the value, monetarily or otherwise, in returning to producing such content with such principles? Let's talk about it with legendary actor Dean Cain here on T3PO.
Let me toss something to you and to Gabe on this, because one of the things that we cover very often here on the channel is that Hollywood seems to be in an absolute spiral, and I'm not even sure anymore that it's a recoverable spiral. Like, I don't know where we've got to retrain the audience now that there's quality, and we're not to the point of having quality yet. So good luck with that. We have seen some of the studios see tremendous, perhaps even historic success with going back to strong male, and by the way, feminine female characters. So right. You might think about in the past 2 years, what has really done well in a sea of otherwise mediocrity. And you might think about, well, you know, Avatar: The Way of Water, that did very well. And that was a very paternal story. You might think about Top Gun Maverick. And, you know, that's a story where Tom Cruise is playing a character who's trying to keep his friend's son alive. It's a very strongly fatherhood aligned film. We've seen it with the Mario movie. But at the same time, you know, movies that reach out to women when they go for very feminine themes, i.e. what Barbie did, that's successful too. We've been reporting here on the channel that we have sources saying that Luke Skywalker is going to be returned in a heroic fashion to the Star Wars franchise now, which is a major departure for Disney.
What a concept.
Yes, I know. So guys, I guess what I'm asking here is, do you feel that we've reached the end of this pendulum movement in one direction? Does Hollywood have to return to the kinds of characters that Dean has played, the kinds of characters that are in these comics? Are we there yet, or has Hollywood still not received the message?
I think. If you want to take that one, you want me to go? I'll go first. It's going to be unsatisfying, but I'll turn it around. I don't know. I think so, but it looks like a smokescreen, right? Because these communists, they're ideologues and they're going down with the ship. But here's why I think I don't care, because I'm there. I don't care what Disney does. I don't give a crap what they do, because I'm there with my stuff. Would you share my screen? You flashed on when Dean was talking, but I wanted to make a point here. One thing Dean and I said when we were making this is that wink and a smile. That's why those two images of Dean there in the comic, that's why he's smiling and being charming and joking around. Because I always think of Harrison Ford's smile and Christopher Reeve's smile. You got to have that fun, that masculinity, that stoicism in there, all the great traits of being a man. Because it shows young people, boys and girls and everyone, hey, this is possible. It's possible to be a great person like this. Can you do it? And if you're raised right and the culture's good, you say, maybe I can do it. Maybe I can be brave. Maybe I can be affable. Maybe I can be kind and honest and believe in truth and justice in the American way. So is the pendulum swinging back? It looks like it, but man, I'll believe it when I see it, because these people, they're dastardly. Like you said earlier, one of you, I'm unsure who said it, they do resent and hate the audience, but they do resent.
Maybe you are the pendulum shift then. Maybe you are the ones doing it.
If not,
maybe you're the force.
You know, come on.
True.
So follow me to victory, everyone. Let's do it. You know, I was a football coach. I'm a rah-rah guy. I'm like Dean. Football's a big part of my life. And the thing you learn about football, you're in the weight room, Dean, and you put the barbell on your back and you're doing those squats. My brother loves this. I told my brother this years ago. When you put 400 pounds of iron on the bar, and you go down to the squat, and now you're at the bottom and you have to come back up. There are two things down there with you. You and the truth. That's it. There's nothing else when you put that weight on your shoulders and you have to press it. And I love that about being a man, about being a human, that we can overcome, that we can do hard things. And there are standards and we can live up to them. And I think postmodernism hates standards. It's why they hate beautiful women. It's why they hate stoic, strong, masculine men, because a standard means hard work and it means discomfort. And the commies, they don't do discomfort. That is anathema to their religion of, you know, resentment and failure. So if they don't want to swing the pendulum back, I'm doing it myself. I don't care. And I'll team up with people like Dean and Akeon and a lot of other great friends. Big announcements coming at Comic-Con with great stuff. And we'll just pull the pendulum ourselves. You know, Disney can do whatever they want. I don't care.
Absolutely. Okay. And the commies, they hate delayed gratification because that builds up for meritocracy. So everybody gets to have just an equal level of suck.
Dean,
Now,
what do you think about movie and TV as well as formats and saving them or not?
I agree with Gabe wholeheartedly. You know, we're pushing the pendulum back as hard as we can. We're pushing back on that. And when people show up for things like Top Gun Maverick, when they do that, it tells audiences, you know, it tells people like, look, this is what people want to see. I want to see a feminine woman. I love that. I want to see smiles. I want to see smiles from my heroes. I don't want everything to be this dark dystopian world. I don't love that. I mean, Top Gun Maverick, he went through some really serious stuff, but he had a smile on his face, and he spent his time with Jennifer Connelly, who never looked better, by the way. Good Lord, she looked great in that. We're pushing back, and that's the thing that's great about now is you have independent people, you have Gabe pushing back, you have me pushing back, you have Matthew Marsden pushing back. There are a lot of people who are out there who are saying, "Look, man, this is not." You know, you got Mark Wahlberg making Catholic movies. You got all kinds of stuff going on where people are pushing back, which is great, and that's the way it happens. And I think that everybody lets everybody be miserable together. That the equal amounts of suck in communism doesn't work. We are a merit-based society. You work hard. You're Indiana Jones. You think you're smarter than other people. You're able to work things out. You put yourself in danger, and then you smile at the pretty girl. That's wonderful stuff to see. That is the meritocracy that I love, and that's the world of football that we grew up in. It's a meritocracy. You work hard in the weight room. You do well on the field. It translates.
If I can throw this in here, Superman is there's an argument to be made that Superman is handed his power in some way. He's got this tragic backstory here, and the difference in some of the more modern takes on Superman versus Lois and Clark, for instance, is that Jonathan Kent is still alive. And that he has a strong tie to his family, and everything about that Superman is okay. Well, he does, and to steal from another superhero here, with great power comes great responsibility. So even if you are blessed with something, even if you have privilege, which the government should say nothing about what your privilege is, because we all need to be equal under the law here, it creates a responsibility, a duty, not a law-bound duty, but a justice-bound duty, maybe, to use the power that you have in order to help other people. And that's another excellent virtue that comes from the Superman stories here, that if you are a person that can help the little people, it's your job to help the little people. Love it.
Right.
What I also noticed a lot is a lot of times in Hollywood right now, especially with superheroes, you saw it with Superman with Henry Cavill. It's all about the spectacle now. It's all about, being able to throw someone through a building or destroy a city with a fist fight. But back in the 90s on TV, you're not throwing people through buildings. And what we got was a very human performance. And, it spoke to me on a level as a kid who's being introduced to Superman for the first time. There's a gentle kindness there. And that is what Superman is. He's a beacon. And you are the last one, Dean, who I think really personified that.
No, I appreciate that, Marvin. Thank you very much. I mean, I'm not going to take full credit for that. It was certainly in the way they created the show and what we were doing. But I really loved that version. I loved that. It was very much a harken back to the Christopher Reeve version, where he's there to be your friend. He's there to do good. He's there for hope and goodness. And that's what I think Superman stands for. It's truth, justice, in the American way, because he was raised, the most powerful being was raised in small town Kansas, Smallville, and then, given all these values. And the fact that we had the parents, Martha and Jonathan Kent, and then his father. I mean, that was the actual final audition scene I did for the show, was one that we did in the pilot where he's trying to explain to his father that he just wants to fit in and be the same, treated like everybody else, but he is different. And with that response, with that tremendous, those gifts that he had tremendous responsibility. And it was a great moment because I've had those conversations with my dad 100 times, whether it's about football or life or any other project, or going off to Princeton when I left Malibu, California. That was a big deal for me. All those moments, my dad was there. So it was great to have my dad there in the show. And that was a huge part of it. We have kind of a fatherless society these days. Fathers are not being, in our country and elsewhere, are just, there's this big Marxism push going on where the government's supposed to raise your kids. And you think, no, it's your mom and your dad and your parents do it. And I think that was really important in the show.
They've proven to be horrible at raising children.
Right. And a good dad is so necessary, so important. And for those who have one, be extremely thankful.
Sorry, I got confused there for a moment. Packing Protons for $5, big supporter of the channel. I hated Ma and Pa Kent's characterization in the Snyderverse. No wonder he wasn't the all-American hero being raised like that. I hope they fix that.
Big deal. Packing Protons is dead right. I mean, that moment where Jonathan Kent, who was Costner, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Is there, and he's like, no, Superman would go. Period. End of story. He would absolutely go.
As far as I'm concerned, that's the Mariner from Waterworld, and it just really ticks me out of it.
I still love that movie. How weird.
It's a lot of fun.
That highlight was from our live stream on the WDW Pro channel, where the full recording can be accessed by members, so join today. A very special thanks to Dean Cain for so generously lending us his time and invaluable insight for all of our viewers to enjoy. What do you think about the question Pro asked in the video? Will Hollywood ever return to producing content featuring traditional family values on the regular, or even at all? Please let us know in the comments below. Like this video if you did like this video, share us out as it helps us out tremendously against the YouTube algorithm, and thank you so much for watching. T3PO. Please comment, like, and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe to That Park Place Podcasts Online, your source for exclusive content and highlights from WDW Pro, The Pro Show, and That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.